every time I've taken my twin-turbo S197 down the track, I've either broken or spun. And so today's video, we're going to be fixing that. So what I got is some biking shocks for the rear, some BMR control arms and a UPR upper control arm, some relocation brackets, and some BMR drag springs. We're going to dial in this rear suspension and hope I can set some shocks right. So yeah, we got the beautiful, beautiful S197 here. We got the twin turbo car, as I call it. We're going to go ahead and get it dialed in because this rear suspension setup is not it. I put the watt box on it and we did a few hits in Mexico and couldn't get it to hook, and it's still wheel hopping really badly. So we're going to go ahead and rip out all the old suspension and go ahead and put in some new solid BMR stuff and some Viking rear shocks. Hopefully clean some stuff up.
1, 2, 3!
Alrighty, so I got two of the things right here. We got a set of Viking Berserkers here. So this is going to be the rear shock. Of course, it's the double adjustables. I have got it set already, so I have the compression on 2 clicks and I think the rebound on 18 clicks. We'll see how that goes once we get to the track, but that's what I found in one form. And then I have some lower control arm relocation brackets here. Of course, you'll see those when I get to put them on the car, but that's just to set the rear lower control arms with this car being lowered on the drag springs that are going to go on it. And rear arms to match are these BMR adjustables. I have had these for like a year now. I bought them on Facebook Marketplace for next to nothing. And so now that I got the brackets here, I can finally put these on. And I probably should have ran those a long time ago. Now, weirdly enough, I do have another set of Viking shocks here. These are just the regular Viking performance ones, not the Berserkers. And then I have this UPR upper here. Now, these are actually my buddy Brandon's for his Turbo 3 valve. But he let me borrow them because mine hadn't come in yet. And then this upper. And now we found out after we bought them off a guy named Christian in Florida that these came off of an old Snot Rocket setup. So this is old Snot Rocket hardware, according to the guy we bought it from, probably V1, I'd assume. So this is gonna be really cool running it on this car if it is actually off Snot Rocket, because if you know Snot Rocket, you know it's probably the fastest S197 in the world. And if this was off of an old setup, that would be really cool. Alrighty, so under here, I'm going to start with the lower relocation bracket. So I'm gonna start on the driver's side because the panhard bar is there. So I'm gonna go ahead and rip pretty much everything out of here. Probably gonna have to rip the panhard bar out and then this lower control arm here to get to everything I need to. Luckily, I have a GT500 over there that has the same kit pretty much, so I can use that for reference to put everything together. Imagine your Uber driver for parts shows up in another 5-liter S197. I don't know if this car's actually been revealed on the channel yet by the time you're seeing this, but I have another S197, I have problems. But he's got the drag springs as I'm wheeling over this trans jack to hold my rear end up. Yeah, good times. Alrighty, so that was an absolute battle the entire time. But we got everything pretty much done. We got the Vikings on the back, I got them set. The BMR drags are on both sides. We got the lower control arm brackets all mounted up on both sides and torqued down to spec. And then we also got the control arms in. We ended up just zip tying these around there. And then we got the upper control arm in, which was also very, very fun. So we got everything installed on the car. Everything we just set to be the same size as the factory stuff. So upper control arm was set to be the same as the factory. And then the lower control arm set to be the same size as the factory. And then I think I give the specs on what I set these two in the beginning, but I'll probably end up having to change those. And then no adjustment there. We just put the BMR drags on there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the wheels and tires on and see how she looks with the new lowering springs and everything. So as you can see, we got the car outside. It does look really, really good now. Honestly, not really much of a difference, but if you don't have any springs on the car, it is a nice drop, about 1.5 inches front and rear. Really cleans up the look, especially on the drag radial in the rear. The front's really, you can't tell right now, but it does make it a little bit tighter as far as clearance goes. Now, the first thing that I have to say is, at first when we got in this car, I messed up the rear sway bar. I broke a bolt and I couldn't put the sway bar in the back. And I thought, hey man, everything's tight in the rear. Sway bar probably won't do anything. I don't have a front one on it. It can't be too bad, right? And in the next few clips, you're gonna find out really quickly that you need at least an anti-roll bar or sway bar in the back of these cars. Because with these shocks set at the settings I talked about earlier, and then the new drag springs in the rear on 15 PSI, the car does not hook, and it's sketchy. It's sketchy. The whole car wobbles. So anyways, let's roll those clips and I'll tell you exactly what I did afterwards. So yeah, overall, after those clips, the car wobbled. So the whole rear of the car got unsettled and wobbled under power, and then it also just spun really, really badly. And I figured out mainly what it was. So this car is on ET Street R, it's on a radial. On a radial tire, you kind of want the car to separate on a straight axle car like this. So essentially, I had the settings in it for it to separate. The only problem with that is on a roll or something like that on the street, separating that hard, it just tends to get loose. I mean, that's just what it is. And so with that being said, on the street, I run the suspension a lot softer. I pretty much zero out. I honestly put a click in each rebound and compression on the Vikings, and I found it hooks up way better like that, honestly. And then on the track, I go ahead and I am now at 2 clicks compression, 6 clicks of rebound in the car. And I have gotten a decent 60 foot out of it on these tires. I ran a 169. You'll see that in a future video. But yeah, we had to put some changes into the car. Driving it how I had it set up in this earlier part of the video did not work out whatsoever, and it was very sketchy. But honestly, underneath, it looks really cool with all the brackets and everything underneath there. And overall, the car does drive a lot stiffer. It is noisier. I will say the NVH of all the solid mount stuff in the back is pretty hard, but I also don't have any sound deadening or rear seats or anything like that in the rear. So it's kind of to be expected with the setup. I also have pretty solid mount stuff in the front with the K-member and the poly mounts and everything for the motor mounts up there. So it kind of all matches. In the next video, you're going to see us taking this thing down track. I've been down track twice with it. I went once to Streetcar Takeover and once to Galot, and I can tell you both times we got pretty solid numbers out of this car as far as the 60 foot and through the 8th mile, which is really what I was trying to dial in with doing the suspension. And I can tell you this entire setup works really, really well. On the street, like I said, the vibrations are a little hard. On the track, it's not that bad, honestly. Car tends to actually feel nicer at wide open throttle going down track than it does street driving, which is a little bit of something I want to work on myself, because I do want to enjoy the car on the street. And so there's going to be some changes coming to the car, the whole setup, everything like that. But that's going to be a later upload. But as far as this video goes, that's pretty much going to be it, guys. As far as everything, I'm pretty much giving you all my suspension setup as well as what we got going on. And I can tell you it's helped out a lot as far as this car goes for hooking. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you liked the video, don't mind clicking that like button and subscribing to the channel. I hope you all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.